If you've heard of Fenix, you've probably come across the PD36R. It's probably one of the better selling lights released in the past couple of years and has some fantastic features that work well for both tactical and everyday carry use. Picking up where its older sibling left off, the newly released PD36R Pro offers a few new features and improvements that make the latest Pro version significantly easier to use under high stress situations. In this video, we'll focus on the new released Pro model. However, if you're interested in seeing a review of the older PD36R, check out the description for a link to my older review video. Before we get on to the rest, I just want to say that I did receive this light for free from Fenix for review. However, the observations and opinions presented here are my very own. The first and most substantial change is the newly designed tail cap with two separate buttons. The larger button works just as it did in the older model and can click the light on and off or be used as a momentary with a half press. Fenix added a smaller secondary button to the tail cap, which is the most significant change and ultimately the one that makes the Pro version so much better. The secondary button is for quick access to the strobe setting when the light is off, or to rapidly change modes when the light is on.
In a true emergency situation, when adrenaline is flowing through your veins, it's all too easy to lose your fine motor skills. That makes turning on a flashlight like the old PD36R, changing your grip, and finding that little side button that much more difficult, giving you a lot more opportunities to drop your light and have to scramble for it. That's where the new PD36R Pro really excels, as you have all those controls readily accessible at the back of the light, making turning on that light and switching modes that much easier without having to change your grip.
One of the new changes that Fenix did introduce with the Pro model is a new remote wired tail switch. However, as I'm not a very tactical minded person, I really can't weigh into the efficacy of this whole system. As for the PD36R Pro's brightness modes, the Eco, Low, and Medium settings put out the same amount of lumens as the non-Pro model. However, the old PD36R edges out the Pro version in overall runtimes at these three lower brightness settings. On high mode, the Pro will put out 1000 lumens for 3 hours and 55 minutes compared to the old model, which will shine at 800 lumens for 5 hours and 49 minutes. While the old model generally wins out in runtime, the new Pro version will not gradually dim the high mode over time as it did with its predecessor. As for the turbo mode on the new model, it puts out a blinding 2800 lumens, a full 1200 lumens more than the old PD36R. Both lights are still constrained by the amount of heat the body of the light can absorb before needing to reduce the output to prevent damaging both the components or burning the user. Looking up close at the head of the light, one of the only visible changes is the new domeless SFT70 emitter. Despite sharing what appears to be the same reflector, the domeless LED results in a more defined hotspot with less falloff. Otherwise, the beam characteristics remain pretty similar between the two lights, with the new Pro model winning out in throw distance due to its increased output. If runtimes over lumens is your primary concern and you can live with the mode button at the front of the light, this is the one case I'd recommend the old version over the new. Charging remains unchanged with this new model, and it has a USB-C charging port, which is protected by a silicone boot, all located up towards the front of the light. While the silicone cover generally gets the job done, I'm still not the biggest fan of this solution. With other lights, I've had port covers catch on clothing or hard surfaces during deployment or stowing, and this can lead to the boot being knocked out of place or fully torn off. Thankfully, I have yet to experience this issue while carrying either version of the PD36R. Fenix has confirmed that the internal circuitry does have some waterproofing, which should help prevent any sort of damage in the case that the seal or rubber boot fail. Just make sure you entirely dry out before plugging in and charging your light. Compared to its older brother, the Pro is generally the same size in all dimensions, except for it's just a little bit longer. To accommodate the larger 21700 battery, this light has to be just a little bit larger than your standard 18650 powered light. If you're not concerned with a little bit of extra heft and weight in your pack or on your duty belt, the added battery capacity over a smaller cell is definitely worth it. Just like any other of Fenix's lights, the build quality on the PD36R Pro is absolutely fantastic. I really cannot find any issues. The body has enough texture to keep it slipping out of the hand too easily, while not having any major snag points, preventing the user from deploying or stashing the light. My biggest gripe against the old 36R was the bulky bidirectional pocket clip, which I found very prone to snagging on surfaces and getting bent. Thankfully, the Pro comes with a new head-down only pocket clip, which accommodates thicker material and has yet to snag on anything while I've been carrying it. Last but not least is a sheath that comes with this light, which is really the one thing that I think Fenix could have done better. While I understand they're trying to find a balance between quality and price to remain competitive, the sheath is anything but merely adequate. The belt loop isn't the highest grade of nylon, and there's no Molle compatibility. If you're planning on carrying this light in a sheath and putting it on your pack or on a duty belt, I highly recommend looking at an aftermarket sheath from a third party. Overall, the new Pro version offers a much better experience, brighter outputs, and a more focused beam compared to the older model. All this paired with Fenix's typical high build quality makes this a perfect choice if you're in the market for a simple and durable flashlight to use in tactical or outdoor situations. I really cannot recommend this overall line of flashlights enough, as it's extremely versatile and offers a very high value to cost ratio. Thank you all so much for watching, and of course I really would like to extend my gratitude and thanks to all the kind people over at Fenix for sending me this flashlight to check out. If you're interested in seeing more flashlight reviews and other EDC related videos, check out my page. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay safe out there.